Have you ever looked up at the clouds and seen an image made out of the shape? Have you ever seen that in tie-dye or in artwork? Looking at an abstract image and you actually see what looks like an image? Well, you're not dreaming. It's called Pareidolia, and there is a scientific explanation for it. Come on in and check it out. It'll blow your mind how the mind is wired. I am Dyeverse Designs, positive energy designs for positive energy people, aka living for the better good of all. It's who I am, it's what I do, my mission, my passion in life. So let's get right to it. Pareidolia is the tendency to perceive a specific, often meaningful image in a random or ambiguous visual pattern. Basically, it means you see something in what is generally nothing, like art or a basic cloud formation or even tie-dye design. This happens because of our amygdala. Our amygdala is a very important part of our brain, but it's also the most primitive part of our brain. It's responsible for things like sexual interest, fight or flight response, and all of our survival instincts. One of those instincts is face recognition, and that is one of its primary responsibilities. It's responsible to recognize faces because if you think about it, when we were just starting to walk, it would be very helpful to be able to recognize a face and know if it's a friend or a foe. This is still a handy thing today. The amygdala can also serve us in very poor ways because of those survival responses, but I'll talk about that in another whole nother series that I'm putting out on Living for the Better Good of All about emotional ping pong. It is a mind blower. It is a seven or 8 part series that will knock your socks off. But back to today's video. So as we said, pareidolia is basically when you look at something like a piece of art and you just see some kind of object staring back at you, like a face or a demon or something that you recognize. The first time that I experienced this was when I was doing acrylic pouring, and this is a little 8x10 I did early on, and for some reason I keep seeing this little kind of cute, either little puppy dog or something, some kind of cute little animal just above the center. It's like these 2 little blue eyes and a little button nose. I'll give you a little closer look at that. So, you know, again, that's not probably the best example. Then I started doing some bigger pieces with the acrylic pouring, and I did this one. This is called a Dutch pour. If you look up toward the top, just to the right of center, you see what looks like this angry warrior soldier face with this flaming helmet on that has these kind of like winged sides to it. Give you a little close-up of that as well. That was kind of cool too. Now, some of the ones that are a little more interesting. Here's one I did for my brother, and this is the last of the art ones. This one, outside of the blatant rose in the center, if you look just above that, just slightly to the right of center, you see what looks like to me this little, like really light green face character, little face. He's got a big nose and pronounced bridge of the nose and lips and no chin and big fat cheeks. And then, you know, that big green eye looking thing. But it just kind of reminded me of old Alice in Wonderland pictures of this like little character that would be sitting on top of the mushroom smoking a hookah pipe, which I'm sure a lot of people are thinking I'm smoking when I'm talking about seeing these things. But I'm telling you, it is real, folks. There's the little closer picture of them. When I started to get into tie-dye, I still kept seeing them. I don't know what it is. And you look right here at the emblem itself, it was kind of a diamond emblem. And if you look at the bottom of the diamond in the emblem, it looks like this little blue guy who's wearing this great big diamond turban. Let's look a little closer. Now tell me, does that or does that not look like a little blue guy? He's looking kind of down at like a 45-degree angle, and he's got this like big blue diamond turban on. The next one that I had is from one of my first, and actually probably one of my better, Phoenix attempts. And there were, again, two effects in here that I thought were kind of cool. One is down toward the bottom center. It looks like there's this pinkish or salmon color rock man kind of thing with this big upside down frown that goes from one side of his face all the way over to the other. And then if you look up in between the wings, again we got this three-dimensional kind of vortex, almost like a little amphitheater kind of thing that went on there, that I'm really going to be working on how to get that effect more to really play, because it's a really cool effect. I'll show you another one in a minute. So down here, here's the close-up of the little rock guy I was telling you about. Like, that just looks to me like a big nose in the center of it, and little slit curved eyes, and that frown that just goes from one side of his jaw to the other. And then here's the little amphitheater kind of thing that has this three-dimensional look to it that actually looks like it goes down and in. So that was kind of cool. When I did my next attempt at the Phoenix, this one gave me two really cool effects. One is that everywhere where the wings would really be, all that, it's actually a black cherry. That whole black cherry horseshoe and this whole little amphitheater around the inside of it. When you see this shirt for real, it does look like this whole big like wormhole could suck you right in. It's so wild to see it. What's even cool, just as cool, is that if you're looking at toward the bottom of the amphitheater, that inner little ring, you can see at the entrance on either side, it looks like sitting down, these two little figures sitting down with their knees bent up, their feet flat, and their hands on their knees. And I'll show you some close-ups of those as well. So here's the vortex itself. And again, like I said, this thing really looks like it goes down and in. And this is what I was talking about in one of my videos about ice dye versus liquid dye, is that the ice dye gives you a lot more contrast of light and dark, which is really what gives you a sense of depth and a sense of seeing these images. Here's another one that I actually got at the bottom of a shirt. I actually really would have never noticed it if it hadn't been for I was ironing it and there happened to be a little speck on it. And I went to get the speck and I'm like, hey, there's a little guy down here. Right in like that. And then our last and my favorite one, the red fox. Again, we got two effects out of this one. This was actually the very first attempt I made at ice dye tie-dye. I watched a video by Chris B called something about psychedelic mindscape, and I tried it, and that got me hooked to where here a year later I'm doing it as a side business now, so it's kind of cool. But as you can see, why I call it the red fox, if you look right in the very center emblem, it looks just like this little red fox head. His ears might be a little big, okay, I'll give you that, but when you see the close-up, you'll have to agree with me. And then if you go straight down to where the belly button would be, it looks like these two little flame demons are kissing. So we'll give you a close-up first of the red fox, so you can clearly see kind of a fox head in that image. And here's the two little flame demons kissing. So it was really pretty cool, and hopefully you found this really cool too. I hope it's something that you found interesting. I would love to see anything you've experienced with it. You can shoot me an email at Dyeverse, that's Dyeverse Designs @yahoo.com, or if you have a video up with it, shoot me a link in the comment section so I can check it out. I would love to see what you guys think about this. So I am Dyeverse Designs, aka Living for the Better Good of All. And what is living for the better good of all? It's doing what you can to help other people out and lift them up. And that's what I'm asking you to do right now. You're going to see a little green shirt in a circle. That's on my subscribe button. Help me out and subscribe. The times I felt best in my life was when I did something good for somebody else. I'd love to see you have that feeling right now. Go ahead and click that button. Help me out. It's a win-win for both of us. Until then, I am living for the better good of all. I hope you are too.